I thought we'll talk a little bit about the death of kings, because it's our king, Charles III, has been diagnosed with cancer. I think at first they said it was a pancreatic cancer, but now I think they're saying that they're not going to say exactly what cancer it is. But either way, it seems pretty serious, because there's some cancers that are much more serious than others, right? There's some types of cancer that if you catch it early, your survival rate is very high. And there's others where, it's a death sentence, really. I'm not sure we know exactly what King Charles III is or isn't suffering from at this point, but he made his first public appearance just the other day. And I thought I'd use it as a jumping off point just to talk about, a bit like Putin-esque, go back 1,000 years and talk about the interesting or notable deaths of kings over the last millennia.
So somebody's asked you, exactly. How is it? What's going to happen now that King Charles has cancer? And you go, well, first we need to start 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, let's start in the 11th century, if we can.
1066, William the Conqueror.
So it's not really exactly current affairs, but just the perhaps imminent death of Charles III. Put it in some sort of context. Or just say before that, next we'll have Prince William, who will be William the Fifth. He should become King William the Fifth. And then after him, of course, he's got a fair few kids now, hasn't he? And the oldest one is a boy, a George. So he'll become George the Seventh. Going back 1,000 years, the Conqueror William the First. He had sort of a strange-ish death. He had some sort of horse riding incident after ruling for 20 odd years and being one of the most brutal rulers we've ever had. His horse stumbled.
He basically tried to genocide the North.
Yeah, the harrying of the North. As a Northman yourself.
A Mercian.
Okay. Really? You consider yourself more Mercian than Northumbrian?
I'm from Cheshire, and actually, when I did a DNA test, I'm not actually Northumbrian, really. When I did a DNA test, my genetic markers were so specific that it could target the East Midlands, Cheshire area, and also Lancashire, where my father's family is from. So I'm very Mercian.
Yes. So much more Mercian than Northumbrian or anything?
Yes.
Would you consider yourself
Irish?
Wessex or so? Oh, Irish, right, yeah. I don't know what you think of yourself.
It's a deep level of shame whenever we point this out.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't realise that. Is that
a joke that's got out of hand?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I thought you actually had Irish blood. No?
Move on.
Okay. This is new to me. I thought it was not okay. I will just move on then. William the Conqueror's horse stumbled, and the pommel at the front of his saddle rode up into his gut, his distended gut. He'd become fat. He'd become heavy, and something ruptured inside, and that was the end of him quite quickly.
Oh well.
Interesting note, he was so big that they tried to stuff him in a normal human-sized coffin, physically sort of fold him into it, and during the funeral service, he split open and he burst. Apparently the smell was so terrible that they just rushed through it and got him into the ground. So hopefully nothing like that will happen during the funeral
of segue.
Charles III. I mean, we know he's got fat fingers, but I don't think they'll actually explode like sausages. I hope not. Anyway, I mean,
well, they might have to prick him before.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's a good thing he's an unpopular king.
Not everything to do with monarchy is as glorious as I wish it was all the time.
I thought you can say something.
I was just saying it's a good thing that he's an unpopular king. Otherwise, this would be considered,
Yeah. I don't
seditious.
I don't mean to be all that rude. It's sad. It's genuinely sad. I don't really like King Charles very much as a man and his politics, but of course it's sad. Of course I don't want him to have a terminal illness. So let's be clear about that. Need I really say that? I hope I shouldn't even really need to say that.
Moving on from Henley.
William II, William Rufus, was just accidentally shot in the head in a hunting accident, as happens.
What, twice in the back of the head?
Yeah. He got double tapped in the back of the head by accident. No,
arrows.
With arrows. No, it wasn't a double tap.
Similar to John F. Kennedy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Accidentally shot in the head.
Yeah, just purely by accident. One of his own guards accidentally, his bow and arrow went off by accident or something. Yeah, no. We're not sure exactly whether that was truly an accident, but I think you can put the word accident in inverted commas around that one.
I genuinely thought you were going to go, Well, we're not truly sure if it was Clinton or not, but
What did Clinton have to do with John F. Kennedy? I know there's a lot of rumors about the body count of the Clintons. They're going for a particular high
He
score.
also shot William in the hunting accident. It's proven that.
I think there's some rumours that George
Do you know
Bush
who
Senior.
forged that saddle that William the Conqueror
Yeah.
was on?
Yeah,
It
who
was
made that?
Clinton.
I think there's some. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but there's some conspiracy theorists that say George Bush Senior was in Dallas in November '63 when Kennedy was killed.
Oh, really?
Because of course George Bush Senior was a CIA dude.
Hmm.
He was a fighter pilot, and then he was in the CIA. But I think other people say no, it was just someone who looked like George Bush Senior, and he wasn't actually there.
That sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
I know with the Clintons, I found out recently at Waco, 3 of the ATF guys were 4 of them were former Clinton bodyguards who were some of the only ATF members to actually die there under suspicious circumstances. That's just an interesting tidbit.
The number of people that had served as Clinton close bodyguards that then died in Afghanistan, Iraq, and in all sorts of places and contexts it's an odd number, an oddly high number. That's all you can really say.
Back to the
Moving on,
Kings.
Henry I. Henry I died of a surfeit of lampreys. Do you know what lampreys are? Lamprey eels. They're like these worm eel type
Oh, yeah.
creatures. They're disgusting. Only a Frenchman would dream of eating lampreys. And he had a surfeit of them, i.e. just a big meal of too many, filled up on lampreys.
He ate himself to death.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's what you get. If you eat too many mollusks, it'll probably make you ill. But I've always, if you've ever seen lampreys, it's like, something like eels, jellied eels turn your stomach, then lampreys just... Yeah. Anyway, that's a slightly interesting death, isn't it?
It's comical.
Yeah, it's bordering on the comical.
Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to tell you about our merch store because we get a lot of people asking how can we support you beyond signing up to the website, and the merch store is the best way. So if you'd like to support us, go over to the website and check it out. Thank you very much.
King Stephen, he of the anarchy, some say he died of natural causes, but others say that the monks of Dover Castle had him poisoned.
Oh, really? What reason would the monks have?
I don't know, to end the anarchy.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Clinton.
Yeah. Those monks.
Crooked Hillary strikes again.
Those monks at Dover, you can never trust them. Henry II Henry Plantagenet was supposed to have died of a broken heart when he heard his son John was among the conspirators against him. I don't know how it's possible to die exactly of a broken heart, but in the medieval period or the ancient world, that was a thing that could happen to you. You were so disappointed and gutted that you died.
It's not a polite way of saying he committed suicide.
No.
Oh, okay.
He literally supposed to have just turned over in bed and just given up the ghost. I think that is a thing, though, to be fair. In very, very extreme cases, especially if you're already dying, that the psychology that you just give up and your body does give out on you. You've got to be close to the end already.
Was he known to already be in a bad state?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
sure,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't fighting fit. And then so and just die.
Sat in his throne, slumps over. Oh dear, bye. Not like a Revenge of the Sith situation.
No, not quite.
She's lost the will to live. If I died every time I lost the will to live, then I wouldn't have made it to 10.
It's a well-known thing, though, isn't it? When couples have been together married for 40 or 50 years, and one of them dies, the other one often isn't long for the world because they sort of give up. The psychology that
I've seen it happen.
Right, yeah, that's fairly well sort of known or documented thing. Richard I, the famous Lionheart, the Coeur de Lion, is one of the few kings to actually die from combat. He got a crossbow bolt in the neck, shoulder, or where his neck or shoulder joins. He was supposed to be one of the greatest warriors of all time, but ended up sort of ignominiously getting shot by a nobody by a crossbow bolt, and it went gangrenous.
I suppose if you're known as one of the greatest warriors of your time, to die in battle is better than to end up gorging yourself on eels till you just die randomly because you're too full.
Yeah, it is more glorious to die in fighting than just in bed, right? Probably.
We're all gonna die.
I would have thought, right? Yeah,
You just get to pick where and when.
right. Yeah.
Do you want to die of old age, or do you want to die driving a Lamborghini at 250 miles an hour on fire over a loop-de-loop into the ocean and then you explode? Which would you prefer?
Not legal advice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was legal advice. I'm saying if gun to your head, if you had to.
There's many cultures in the world that think it's really disrespectful if you die an old man, a greybeard. If you die just of old age, you've sort of failed. You're supposed to die gloriously in some sort of blaze of glory.
I'm pretty sure, like like Viking culture was quite similar to that. Because obviously, if you died in battle, then you were going to Valhalla. Whereas if you lived to an old age and became the greybeard, yeah, you'd have lots of wisdom, but also it's shameful of you.
Yeah, in some way, it's a reflection that you're a coward, that you didn't get yourself killed violently at some point.
Maybe you were a master strategist and an excellent fighter, but no, this is how we work.
Let's crack through it.
Yeah. Okay. John, Richard's brother, died of dysentery. More than one. Henry V died of dysentery. Very ignominious for a king to sort of crap yourself to death, isn't it?
Easy to happen back then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Edward II, probably the funniest, quote unquote, or most horrific, most brutal, was had a white hot poker up the back passage to boil his guts from the inside.
Gaddafi'd.
He got the hot Gaddafi. Yeah. It's probably the most
serve hog roast.
That is probably the most horrific death that an English monarch ever suffered. Richard II was out of favour and got deposed, and he was sort of forced to starve to death. I think starved to death is a horrible way to die, really actually painful and horrible. And again, humiliating and long. Yeah. Henry VI. Henry VI was murdered. He was in the Tower, the prisoner of Edward IV. And at some point, someone came into his room and bashed his head in.
On the orders of the king, or just because he was too loud?
Almost certainly, yeah. Well, yeah, it was, yeah.
It was just a terrible prisoner and they'd had enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had enough of his weakness and indecision and things. Also, Edward V. The two princes in the Tower. I mean, one of them was a prince. The other one was the king. The elder of those two boys was King Edward V. And most people think they were smothered, or they were just at least murdered by somebody, again, in the Tower. Richard III died in battle. That's glorious, isn't it? The Battle of Bosworth Field. It's going to be more glorious than what happens to poor old King Charles III, one way or another.
There's still time, Charles.
Lady Jane Grey, only queen for 9 days. Many people say she was never actually a queen, but I count her. A lot of historians do count her. She got herself beheaded. Mary I, they thought she was pregnant, turned out just to be massive cancer. What? Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, she had a big distended belly and she thought she was pregnant, and then she wasn't. And it was.
You are pregnant. Congratulations, with cancer.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's a healthy tumour.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
Horrible. Of course, Charles Stuart, got himself again beheaded by the parliamentarians, by Oliver Cromwell's.
We get being a traitor.
Right. Yeah, for bringing an Irish army over to England. That's what you get.
Maybe you should be more grateful, Callum.
No, I deserve death.
The last one I'll mention then, William III, William of Orange. Again, a riding accident. It's pretty ignominious, isn't it, that also? Apparently, maybe his horse stumbled over a molehill and he fell off the horse and injured. Again, he sort of maybe
He was making a bit of a mountain of it.
Maybe fractured his collarbone or his arm or his shoulder or something. And he just didn't get better and his health failed and he died. So anyway, as we're sort of out of time, I made that a very short segment, but hopefully it's food for thought for some people out there. If you are interested in history, go out and look up some of these things. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as Lads Hour, this episode on meme politics. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.